Thumbs up the king.
Marco. Come on, Marco. Fuck him.
Ahem, ahem. Well, here we are. Back again. This time with 90,000 subscribers. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. How does he do it? How does he do it? He did it. He did it, that's for sure. With the help of his family. So we're here. We're back. Make sure you guys go ahead, hit thumbs up the ting.
Thumbs up the king.
My YouTube buttons, for some reason, when I press the thing to make a chat message pop up in the chat, it doesn't work anymore. Yay. I know what you're wondering. Marco, you must have changed some settings since the last time you live streamed, right? Nope. Just doesn't work anymore. Yes! So yeah, 75 people watching and only 19 thumbs ups. We'll be in Goon Court.
What you were about to witness.
What up to everybody in the chat? Definitely not seeing enough green in the chat. So if we want to use our high vibrational frequencies and ultraviolet light spectrums and ultrasonic dog whistle sound spectrums, if we want to expand real quick and just get ourselves in a better vibrational mode right now, perhaps we could manifest some gifted memberships so that we can make the chat more green, so that my brain can release the good, what's it called? The good, you know, dopamine and the good chemicals. So, you know, that way I'll feel good about myself and I'll know that I win. What up, Specs? What up, Devin? Susan, Susie, Jared. Look at all these mods. Julie, I gotta shout out everybody. Hi from Calgary. Thank you, Susie. I'm definitely not in Calgary, but I know you're asking, Marco, what is going on with that donation goal in the top left of the screen? Well, the answer is that there are rumblings behind the scenes that another iteration of the MLM conference that I spoke on last year is happening. These are what the rumors say. I don't know. I don't know. But these are the rumors. And rumor also has it that the minds behind this conference want me to attend it in person. Now, of course, I'm James Bond and nobody knows where I am, but I'm not in North America. Spoiler alert. Little hint Easter egg for all you paid assassins watching the stream right now on the replay. Shout out to you. But basically, it's going to be a baggy poo and a half to get there. So, just manifesting. Streamlabs link in the chat. I would put the link, I would press the button to put the link in the chat, but of course it doesn't work. Woo! And thumbs up the ting and blah, blah, blah.
Thumbs up the king.
All right. Oh, also, my new book is available now. I would put the link. I would put the link in the chat, but again, my button doesn't work. So perhaps I'll just show it to you upon the screen. Here we go. This is the new book. Write this down. It is a journal, and the journal, it's a beautiful journal. Actually, I think it was Sheikh Shadid who sent me an Instagram photo showing me that his had arrived, and I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. But as you can see, finally, you have a designated place to write down the endless flood of mindless motivational babble, verbal diarrhea, and word salad that your upline leaders feed you at every one of your pyramid scheme trainings. The words, write this down, will never be lost on you again. We love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. So let's thank you, Sev, for gifting a membership. Thank you. And thumbs up the ting, of course, everybody.
Thumbs up the king.
Okay, Pulitzer Prize. I know. I worked very hard writing this book. And thank you to Devin Kelly in the chat for designing it. Really appreciate that. Okay, I want to read you guys something. Okay? This is just going to be a basis for what we're talking about on this stream. And I need to make this abundantly super mega ultra duper clear. Euphemism. A euphemism, little English class with Grandpa. Aww. A euphemism is a softening of words or thoughts that may be hard, harsh, obscene, or profane if spoken as it is. Euphemisms are best used to maintain politeness and respect of persons in communication. Instead of saying someone died, one may euphemistically say he passed away. When someone tells you he passed away, you don't feel deceived. You know exactly what they were trying to get at. You know exactly what they meant. Doublespeak is a deliberate concealment of the speaker's true thoughts through misdirection, complication, and ambiguity. It is the application of a euphemism to mislead the hearer and present a negative thing as a positive thing. The classic example of doublespeak is in George Orwell's 1984, which, with the coining of the words doublethink and newspeak, inspired the term doublespeak. The motto, war is peace. If you've read or listened to the book of 1984, you know that Oceania, which is the tyrannical government organization that runs that part of the world, you know that they have a slogan: war is peace, slavery is freedom. Let me read the whole thing. War is peace, freedom is slavery, hate is love, something like that. Here, this is it. Sorry. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Of course, complete backwardsness, but this is the motto of the Oceania government in 1984. Now, what I want to explain to everybody here is that, and you see the title of the stream is How MLM Runs the World. You know what I realize about most people on Earth is that most people on Earth are subscribed in some way or another to some form of cultic following, whether you're a subscriber to Always Marco on YouTube, which is obviously the best cult, or perhaps it could be a religion.
I've been in a lot of cults. This cult is the best, let me tell you. So true.
So true. Thank you, Sev. Great guy. Great genes. Thank you, Sev. You know, whether it is a government organization, a political party, a religious group, or a bona fide cult or multi-level marketing scheme, I've noticed the same tactics being used across all of these. For example, in politics, you might hear a political candidate saying something like, if we don't get this current guy out of office, here are all the bad things that are going to happen. And if you looked back however many years ago at the guy who's currently in office, when he was running, he was saying the same thing about the guy that came before him, and before him, and before him, and before him. In Steve Hassan's book, Freedom of Mind, he talks about how cults induce phobias. They don't necessarily create phobias, but they induce phobias that all of us already have. Base level human instinctual concerns and fears that we have. The safety of our family, what's going to happen in the future, the security, so on and so forth. You can get what are the universal things that all people, regardless of who you are, care about. The people we love, our own well-being, our money, having a roof over our head, etc. You may see a religious group say something like, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, or if you do X, Y, and Z, you may suffer something like eternal hellfire. This to me would be an example of maybe not even inducing a phobia, but just creating a phobia out of thin air. Because why would somebody who had never even, somebody in a remote tribe who had never heard of God, right? They were just, picking berries and collecting sticks, much like the people on the commune of the goons do. They had never even known about God. Do you think they would have ever just imagined hell or hellfire? Probably not. I'm just guessing. Probably not. But of course, settlers and colonizers found these tribes and introduced them to the Bible because they were helping them to awaken. They were liberating them. Another example, if the government decides to wage war, the government, depending on where you are in the world and who your government is, perhaps a government of the Western variety, they may say that they are going to liberate the people of that country because it is their leader who is imposing tyranny upon them. And so the solution for this is for us to go and bomb them to smithereens. Oh, and by the way, they have some oil. I want to share with you this page, Military Doublespeak. Here we go. I love this. I think the military is maybe the funniest when it comes to this. Here we go. Doublespeak is not lying, nor is it merely sloppy language. It is the intentional use of euphemisms, synonyms, jargon, and vagueness, which pretends to communicate but really does not, or implies the opposite of what it would appear to communicate. Here we go. I'm skipping ahead a bit. Okay, beautiful. Oh, this is a beautiful list. Here we go. Surgical strike equals precision bombing. Laying down a carpet equals saturation bombing. Denying the enemy, bombing military targets in the hearts of cities. Assets, bombs. Collateral bombing, civilian deaths during bombing raids. Incontinent ordnance, mistaken shelling of one's own troops. Assertive disarmament, destruction of the enemy's firepower. So these are just a few good examples here of military doublespeak. You know, recently you may have been hearing about developments in the world. Not going to say where. And there are people who abjectly try to deny reality. Okay? I don't want to, you know, this is YouTube, and even if I say something that is truthful, YouTube's algorithm may just scan the words that I say. You know when you watch a video and you press C on the keyboard to watch auto captions? The creator didn't upload those. That is YouTube listening to it, and then after the video has processed, it's generating those for you based on what it hears. And you can pull up the transcript of any YouTube video using this tool. So YouTube's algorithm is reading these transcripts essentially and deciding whether it is safe for monetization or not. So I have to be careful with the words I'm choosing when I talk about this specific thing. Recently, I had somebody who's been following me for a few years, who I've never met, who I've never spoken to beyond the, hey, thanks for sharing this, or, you know, liking the whatever message. This person enjoys the content that I make where I'm pointing out the language games and brainwashing tactics that are used by MLM recruiters. Specifically, they were enjoying what I posted about Ed Milet recently. Then I was stunned to find out that this same person, who I thought was my peer in the world of observing objective reality and realizing nonsense and madness and propaganda when you see it, this person commented on one of my posts and said, and I'm quoting exactly. They commented on one of my posts where I was highlighting this manipulative brainwashing language from an MLM recruiter. And this fan of mine commented something that said, this is like when pro-pallies use the words Gen, you follow me? Geno, ethnic, you know, terror, you know, when referring to what's happening in Gaza. Pro-pallies, bro. And it's like, I think Christopher Hitchens said it best, rest in peace. Religion, and not just religion, but religion, cults, brainwashing, can make otherwise good people, sane, logical, rational people, do and say and condone horrible and unspeakable things. And I was very saddened to hear that. When you might see current events unfolding in the Middle East, and you will hear terms when Western media talks about one side, they will say things like an act of terror, and they will describe in detail how people from this side of a certain conflict committed atrocities against the other. They cut off this person's hand. They killed this person's child, etc., etc. And when they report on the other side, they will say they entered the hospital. They defended. They'll use a vague language to describe what is happening to one, and then use inflammatory language or more descriptive or shocking language to describe what is happening with the other. Likewise, I was thinking about this recently because I'm in a part of the world where white people are the minority. And what I realize is I have never heard a white person in my life referred to as an immigrant. Now, let me reel in any potential people in the chat who might be thinking, oh, I was waiting for Marco to dunk on white people because I want to, do. That's not what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I'm greatly disgusted by the rise in anti-white people rhetoric that has happened over the last few years. Racism is racism regardless of what color you are, even if there was a history. I don't believe in this like group guilt, your grandfather did this to my grandfather. We're not doing that. All I'm doing is making an observation about how different cultures describe things differently. Yeah, I have tons of white friends. I've never heard a white person referred to as an immigrant. When I hear white people described, or people who come from Western countries and they come over to a part of the world like where I am now, people will say, oh, you're an expat, you're an expatriate. But if a person who was brown came from their part of the world to the West, they would never be called an expat. They would never say, no one would ever tell that person like, oh, you're an expatriate from Pakistan, you've now become an expat in America. No, they would say you're an immigrant. And I think it's just like a sort of media propaganda tool to make the word immigrant in your mind synonymous with this image of like a poor, desperate, illiterate, dirty, brown person coming to the country, and then, more negative connotations from that. Them taking resources away, them committing crime, all of the propaganda that you hear associated with people who have the word immigrant attached to their name, it's usually always negative, and I'm acutely aware of this and sensitive to this because I was in grade 1 when 9/11 happened. I was in grade 1. Can you imagine? I was 6-7 years old. Can you imagine the ensuing 11 years of elementary and junior high and high school education where anytime there was a boys will be boys moment, the go-to thing to like joke about or say was that like I was a terrorist, Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, like you name it, bro. It was like the worst timing ever for me anyways. It was the worst timing. I remember it so distinctly. And so yeah, I anyways, I'm making a larger point here about how language is the key. Language and words are the key to shaping our reality. There's a great quote, and I wish I knew who said this quote because I'd be crediting them for it. The quote is, "Take away all of my rights, but leave me with freedom of speech, and with it I will take back all the rest. Rather, with it I will win back all the rest." Now, this is a whole new problem because not only is doublespeak and jargon and flim-flam and nonsense and euphemism so rampant in every industry you can think of and every realm of our society, but even the idea of freedom of speech for the people who can see through it is so limited. I mean, you have freedom of speech if no one's listening to you. You have freedom of speech if no one who's in power has any issue with you saying it. You have freedom of speech and your Instagram story gets uploaded perfectly fine, so long as you're not saying anything that runs counter to what the official mainstream narrative is, all of a sudden your Instagram story failed to upload, or it's glitching, or it uploaded out of sequence, so now what you're talking about in your video doesn't make sense. You have freedom of speech so long as you're not trying to upset the status quo by pointing out the government corruption that has lasted for many decades through their involvement and being in bed with and taking money from multi-level marketing, a made-up term that is actually a cult and fraud, the likes of which and the scale of which has never been seen before in human history. All of a sudden, you've upset the wrong people, and now you've had to, I don't know, leave your family in the West so that they wouldn't be a casualty of that knock on the door at 3 in the morning. Or that interruption at the dinner table by someone at the door saying, "We're looking for always Marco." Or that email that says, "You are being sued for X millions of dollars because you said this." You have freedom of speech so long as you're not trying to do that. You know, bringing it back to the military for a second. The military, at least the American military, never bombs anyone. They never bomb anyone. The American military may service the client, but they never bomb anyone. The American military never attacks anyone. They only defend. They may do a preemptive counterattack. Did you know, and I'll pull up a Wikipedia page because this is about as legit as it gets. The United States Department of War, for the present agency overseeing the United States Armed Forces, see United States Department of Defense. The United States Department of War, also called the War Department and occasionally War Office in the early years, was the United States Cabinet Department originally responsible for the operation and maintenance of the United States Army, also bearing responsibility for naval affairs until the establishment of the Navy in 1798, and for most blah, blah, blah. The Secretary of War, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. The Department of the Army and Department of the Air Force later joined the Department of the Navy under the United States Department of Defense. In America, the Department of Defense used to be called the Department of War. Why? Because that's what they were in the business of. That's what they are in the business of. But it sounds a lot better to say the Department of Defense. We are not interested in war. We are not interested in setting up military bases all over the world and forcing countries through violence to adopt the American dollar as their reserve currency. We are simply liberating other countries who are suffering tyranny under their leader. And when we show you this footage of their leader speaking, the audio will not be there because in case you're able to speak that language and you know that what we're reporting is not true, we don't want you to find out. We need to rescue these countries. We need to defend American freedoms. It is for your safety. In 1984, there are several ministries that the government operates. The Ministry of Truth, which is responsible for propaganda. If you scroll down, there's a breakdown of what these mean in the book. Ministry of Truth actually means, of course, because it's Newspeak, mini-true would be the Newspeak word for Ministry of Truth. In 1984, the Ministry of Truth creates a Newspeak dictionary, which they revise every year, and it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller so that they can limit the amount of words that people have available to them to describe the world around them or what they're feeling or what they're thinking, because you don't want to be a thinker in the world of Oceania in 1984 because that would be thought crime or crime think. So they abbreviate words. So instead of something being excellent, it's double good. If something is really excellent, it's double plus good, and so on. This is how they remove words from the vocabulary. If you have less words, you have less tools, etc., etc. The Ministry of Truth is the Ministry of Propaganda. As with the other ministries in the novel, the name Ministry of Truth is a deliberate misnomer because in reality it serves the opposite. It is responsible for any necessary falsification of historical events. However, like the other ministries, the name is also apt because it decides what truth is in Oceania. As well as administering truth, the ministry spreads a new language amongst the populace called Newspeak, in which, for example, truth is understood to mean statements like 2 + 2 = 5 when the situation warrants. In keeping with the concept of doublethink, the ministry is thus aptly named in that it creates or manufactures truth in the Newspeak sense of the word. The book describes the doctoring of historical records to show a government-approved version of events. Next, the Ministry of Peace. Can you guess what this one is about? The Ministry of Peace, or Mini-Pax, serves as the war ministry of Oceania's government and is in charge of the armed forces, mostly the Navy and Army. Now, does that sound similar to what I just described with the real-life example of the Department of War in the United States being changed to the Department of Defense? Perhaps it doesn't go so far to stretch the truth as to call it the Department of Peace, because that would be a bit of a stretch, but defense is something we can all swallow. Ministry of Love. Where did it go? Ministry of Love. Here we go. The Ministry of Love, or Mini-Love, serves as Oceania's interior ministry. It enforces loyalty to Big Brother through fear, buttressed through a massive apparatus of security and repression and surveillance, as well as systematic brainwashing. The Ministry of Love building has no windows and is surrounded by barbed wire entanglements, steel doors, hidden machine gun nests, and guards armed with jointed truncheons. Referred to as the place where there is no darkness, its interior lights are never turned off. It is arguably the most powerful ministry, controlling the will of the population. The thought police are a part of Mini-Love. In real life, this might be called the mainstream media. The Ministry of Love, like the other ministries, is misnamed. No, not the Ministry of Love, since it is responsible for the practice and infliction of misery, fear, suffering, and torture. In a sense, however, the name is apt, since its ultimate purpose is to instill the love of Big Brother, the only form of love permitted in Oceania, in the minds of thought criminals, as part of the process of reverting them to orthodox thought. In the book, this is described in great detail, and I won't spoil it for you, but essentially people are tortured to the point of accepting Big Brother into their heart. Because if they don't, the pain that awaits them at the hands of the Ministry of Love is so extensive and exhaustive that they will beg for death, but they will never be granted the freedom of passing on. They instead have no choice but to accept Big Brother and love Big Brother. The Ministry of Plenty is in control of Oceania's command economy. It oversees the rationing of food, supplies, and goods. As told in Orwell's book, the economy of Oceania is very important, and it is necessary to have the public continually create useless and synthetic supplies or weapons for use in the war, while they have no access to the means of production. This is the central theme of Oceania's idea that a poor, ignorant populace is easier to rule over than a wealthy, well-informed one. Telescreens often make reports on how Big Brother has been able to increase economic production, even when production has actually gone down. There's an example in the book of how each week the Ministry of Truth will publish news saying, "Good news, everyone. The Ministry of Plenty reports that they will be increasing your chocolate rations from 10 grams to 20 grams, when the truth is actually that the rations have decreased from 15 grams to 10 grams. Or they will say that the rations of bread have increased from 10 to 20, but they were already at 20, and before that it was at 25. So they're celebrating an increase when really there was a decrease. And you can't say anything about this Because if you do, the telescreens and the Ministry of Love will listen to you and you'll be in big trouble. So the different ministries all work together. Now, what does any of this have to do with multi-level marketing? Well, I hope that I've set up enough examples and parallels between this dystopian hypothetical reality of 1984, which was 40 years ago. So we're much more advanced now than that, surely. In the world today, we have something called the Direct Selling Association. This association is a trade association whose main purpose is to lobby and advocate on behalf of multi-level marketing. The Direct Selling Association is not in charge of anything to do with direct selling. Direct selling, as Robert Fitzpatrick very aptly pointed out in his book, Direct Selling, a Nonfiction Fable, which is an accoutrement to his book, Ponzinomics. I have that linked in my description, and I highly recommend you read it, because if you want to see a real world 1984, that is the book that will describe, in my opinion, the most rampant abuses of language, reality, people's personal sovereignty, etc., 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 that you will be able to find anywhere ever. The Direct Selling Association does not associate with direct selling at all. This name is complete newspeak. Multi-level marketing is also a deceptive doublespeak term, because multiple levels does not describe what is going on, and nor does the word marketing. This is an infinite level, endless chain recruiting pyramid scheme business that does not actually meet the qualifications for business. In a previous stream, and I'll cut this segment or refilm a new segment to make that its own video, multi-level marketing does not meet the qualifications for business because arguably the very first step in a business relationship is a voluntary contract between two parties. Example, I would like to buy a cheeseburger. How much is it? It is $5. Here is $5. I receive a cheeseburger. That is a voluntary contract. Telling someone, however, give me your money and recruit 3 other people to give you their money, and you will be a millionaire. This is not a voluntary contract because you are describing something to the person. You are selling something to them and promising something to them that is mathematically impossible, and even based on your own experience advertising this is untrue. And we know it's untrue because the government acknowledges in a document embedded on their page called Multi-Level Marketing Businesses and Pyramid Schemes. They have on their website the 2011 John Taylor study called The Case for and Against Multi-Level Marketing. Look at the, I don't know if you can see this. This is on ftc.gov/sites/default/files/documents/public, on and on and on and on. This is on the FTC's website. Let me see if I can find it on this page too, on the embedded page. I'm sure it's linked here somewhere in one of the annotated blue texts, but I'm not sure which exact one it is right now. Anywho, in the case for and against MLM, every MLM has had its, I mean, at that point, 2011. John Taylor, compensation plan, analysis. I don't know why they have it truncated on the website. Here we go. It's called MLM's Abysmal Numbers. This is one of the chapters in that report. This is also on ftc.gov/sites/default, blah, blah, blah. Chapter 7, MLM's Abysmal Numbers. Now, if you command F and type in the name Robert Fitzpatrick, you will see Robert Fitzpatrick's name mentioned in this document more than one time. And throughout the entire report, he's mentioned more than one time. This Robert Fitzpatrick is a guy who has been criticized as being a critic or a crazy person or a loser or a naysayer. And yet, the same government that is perpetuating this lie that MLM is a legitimate business recognizes his contributions to this document that they acknowledge as accurate and truthful. He's a contributor to this. He's one of the people that was part of this report. Robert Fitzpatrick, sponsor of the website pyramidschemealert.org. He used different assumptions than those used here, not attempting to correct the deceptions in the reporting of the MLM companies he analyzed, but he still concluded, based on the company's own reports, as follows, that a statistical analysis of income disclosures made by 11 major MLM companies, and the largest of all MLMs, Amway/Quickstar, reveals that on average, 99% of all participants receive less than $10 a week in commissions before all expenses. Additionally, the report shows that on average, no net income, meaning after you compare the income versus the expenses, the net, what is left over. The report shows that on average, no net income is earned by MLM distributors from door-to-door retail sales. The data analyses prove that virtually all MLM participants never earn a profit, and that MLM claims of a broad-based MLM income opportunity are false. The report reveals that the majority of all commission payments are awarded only to a small group of promoters at the top. More than 50% of all commission payments were transferred to the top 1% in 10 of the 11 companies. In several cases, more than 70% of all commissions were paid to the top 1%. The top-loaded pay plans of the MLM companies are based on endless chain recruiting, in which the investments of the latest recruits are transferred to the earliest ones, and the vast majority of all participants are always situated at the bottom levels of the chain, where profit is impossible. In 1984, if you opposed the government of Oceania, you may very well find yourself recorded on the telescreen that was listening to you, even in a private area such as your own bedroom. And if it even thought that you said or whispered something in your sleep that could have been thought crime or crime think, the Ministry of Love could come and take you away and put you in room 101, where you would be forced to love Big Brother. In real life, if you say something on YouTube where you supposedly have freedom of speech and the freedom to say the truth as a Canadian citizen with the freedom of, Charter of Rights and Freedoms, freedom of expression, or an American citizen with the right to free speech, your amendment right, and you say something about multi-level marketing that is true, that these companies are scams where 99% of people will lose money, where they do not meet the qualifications of business, where there is no voluntary contract happening, where all that is happening is deception and lies and doublespeak and misdirection and intimidation and threats and fake flexing and social proof and lying, then you may find yourself in a situation where not the Ministry of Love, but some private investigator who was hired by the Ministry of Love or the Direct Selling Association comes to find you in your private home, comes to find the addresses of your relatives to ask if they know where you are. You may find yourself having to leave the entire region of Oceania just for your own safety because you committed thought crime. You exposed the truth. And so, in a legal official report, doublespeak will be used again. And they will say that what you described, which was truthful, is defamation, harassment. You've inflicted emotional damage, emotional suffering. What did you really do? You said what was objectively truthful. It is the year 2024, 40 years from the projected dystopian future of 1984. And what I have sought to do on this stream is to point out how far we have actually not strayed, how close we still are. This is a list of a few of the terms in 1984 from the Newspeak Dictionary. Artsem, artificial insemination. Black-white, believing that black is white, knowing that black is white, and forgetting anything of the contrary. Another example of black-white would be 2 + 2 = 5, which in the book, when Winston Smith, the main character, is being tortured, the antagonist of the story who's torturing him says, "How many fingers am I holding up, Winston?" And Winston says, 4, and he's tortured for days on end. And then he's asked again, "How many fingers am I holding up, Winston?" He says, 4. And his torturer says, "What if I told you I was holding up 5? And Winston says, "How can that be?" He pleads with him, "How can it be? How can I see something other than what's right in front of my eyes?" And his torturer effectively tells him, "You have a lot to learn," and tortures him more and more and more until Winston finally says, "I don't know. I don't know how many fingers you're holding up." The equivalent of this, holding up the fingers and saying what is other than the truth, is describing multi-level marketing as direct selling, as business, making these false correlations and false equivalences between, oh, we're just like a doctor's office. If you're a doctor and then you open your own practice and you hire other doctors that you get paid off what they do, that's just like what we do. If you're an insurance broker and you want to open up your own brokerage, that's just like what we do. If you're a lawyer and you have a law practice, if you're a realtor and you have a real estate brokerage, it's just like what we do. No, it is not. Double think. The ability to have two completely contradictory beliefs in one's mind and believe both of them to be true. Well, some MLMs are good. Some MLMs are legit. Other ones are pyramid schemes. Well, which ones? Which ones are the legit ones? All the ones that said they were legit up until the day they were discovered not to be because there was an investigation? Oh, well, no, that one, not that one. Oh, okay. Good think. Thought deemed acceptable by the party. Old think. Old think would also be thought crime. Old speak, any language that is not new speak. I mean, you get the idea. You get the idea. I hope I've conveyed to you what I've perceived and what I am experiencing today. Devin Kelly says, my ex was in the Marines, and during training, they literally primed him for doublespeak by making them call a shovel, an entrenching tool, and a pen an ink stick. Yep. Appreciate you, EC. I'm reading your guys' comments because I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this. I know this is a serious one. Thumbs up the ting, of course. 80 likes only. Only half of you liked it. I see. Traders. What's up, y'all? Giselle, what up, Sev? Yep, Giselle commenting on the thing I said about how immigrants are always referred to as immigrants regardless of, you know, how long they've been wherever they are. Perpetual foreigners. Yes. I love Slim Sam. What up, Mars? Gobbledygook, Pish Posh, Balderdash, made it up. Marco Intrum, hand gestures. You 100% have freedom of speech until you talk about American corruption. We've got great bombs, all the best bombs, frankly. They're fantastic. You look at what we're doing in Gaza. Yeah, you have freedom of speech till you talk bad about the other country that also likes hummus and claims to have invented it, but they didn't. Samuel says, makes sense that from an American POV, an American going to live abroad is an expat, while a foreigner coming to America is an immigrant. Yes, but they don't have that same... It's interesting how pervasive the American media's portrayal of expats has been even in other countries, because here I am in another country, and even local people refer to me as an expat. Why are they not referring to me as an immigrant? Mini inch, yeah. My AP English class didn't teach us this much about euphemisms. Talk your shit, Marco. Thank you, Specs. Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Ciro Stratus. The real pyramid scheme is the 9 to 5, yeah. What up, Legend Gaming, Jared? Jared says, it's like how they teach the Europeans came and had dinner with the Native Americans, brought them blankets and shit, but leave out all the other shit. Yeah, no kidding. Centimeters are no longer, it's mini inch. Mini love is wild. Legend, donate $100 real quick. Thank you, Specs. Marco, we're bored. We need a verse out of the Rasta Bible. Wow. The Ministry of Stupid. Peter Mingils, the Ministry of Stupid. The Ministry of Gay and the Ministry of Stupid. You know, this is so pervasive. And, you know, it's hard. This is the ultimate point that I'm going to make here. To point out to you how truly of an uphill battle it is to take on multi-level marketing and the direct selling association, because the most hotly debated political, and social issues of the day are things that are so objectively foolish and silly that it seems a pipe dream almost that I would ever be able to get through to the masses the truth about MLM. MLM does a very effective job as disguising itself of business and making these false equivocations between themselves and other legitimate businesses, like the example I mentioned before, doctors' offices, real estate brokerages, law firms, insurance agencies, etc. They do a good job at disguising themselves as these things, and they spend a lot of money to have academics and lawyers and professionals nod and smile and agree. There's a great quote. It is difficult to make a man understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it. You have today a raging culture war of people who commit doublethink every day, who commit black-white thinking every day, when they say, in regards to experimental medicine, trust the science. But those same people, when it comes to whether your son is actually a boy, they say, don't trust the science. The science now that has been established for hundreds of years, don't listen to that. It's a social construct. But this new medicine that we've just invented, that these companies were shown to have made hundreds of billions of dollars with over the last few years, just trust the science. It's for your safety. Now, I'm not giving my opinion on either of these two topics either way. I'm just pointing out hypocrisy, a doublethink. And in 1984, there's something called duck speak, which is speaking without thinking. It quacks like a duck. It's called duck speak. That's I think what that is. You saw something on Facebook or Instagram, and now you're repeating it. I want to, yesterday I posted that clip of Ed Milet talking about it's so important that you answer a question with a question. Or I guess it would have been this morning that I posted it. It's so important that you answer a question with a question. And you see people who have been trained to do this, and they just have the MLM dead eyes, where no one's home. The lights are on, but nobody's home. I just want to grab these people by the shoulders and go right in their face and say, what do you actually think? They don't. They don't think. They have had their brain opened up, and as people have told me before, they had their brain, they weren't brainwashed, they washed their brain. And they had it put back in, and now it's completely smooth and sterile. Or it was just taken out completely, closed back up, and instead they put in a microchip with the script of what you should say in MLM. Hey, I love those shoes. So, the 1,000-yard stare for real. For real. So yeah, think about that. It's going to be hard to convince the world, who is being paid handsomely, very official people are being paid very handsomely, to pretend that MLM is a real business. Well, now that I think of it, actually, maybe for that reason, it will actually be easier to snap the world out of it. Because the people who lie and say that it is legit have to be paid out the wazoo in order to agree with it. The DSA lobbies the government like you would not believe. As a matter of fact, there's a website called Open Secrets. Open Secrets. It's a nonprofit organization It does research, and it's government transparency group tracking. It tracks money in politics and its effect on elections and policy. If you go to Open Secrets, you can actually see how much money, percentage of revenue, that MLM companies are spending on government lobbying, another doublespeak term. What does it mean? Bribery. You can see how much MLM companies, or rather the Direct Selling Association, and specific companies for that matter, are spending on lobbying as a percentage of revenue compared to what companies like Meta, Pfizer, Goldman Sachs, etc., big corporations, so huge, who you would think have a very, very strong interest in lobbying and making sure the government is on their good side. You can see that the percentage of revenue spent by MLM companies on lobbying drastically outmatches the percentage of revenue that these big corporations are spending. Now, they might not be spending more money in terms of actual dollars amount, but they are spending a greater percentage of their own revenue. So they might be spending, out of $1 billion made that year, 100 million on lobbying, whereas Meta maybe spent 200 million, but it was a much smaller fraction of their overall money. You get what I'm saying? So, and then the other examples that I brought up, I guess people aren't being paid to think it. I guess people are just insane, or they're just completely brainwashed and indoctrinated by the propaganda that they see, or they're so scared to say what they really think that they're so scared to say what they really think because it'll cost them their job or whatever, that they just like either say nothing or they just go along with it or act like they actually do give a fuck or agree, So, what up, David? Appreciate you. Appreciate all the mods. 2 scams. All right, let me read you guys' comments here. I'd love to talk to Oz from behind MLM. Put me in touch. Marco should do an interview with Coffeezilla. I was actually talking to Coffeezilla the other day. Appreciate you, Aram. Yes, Alexis, you are in a cult. The true crime channel was Matt Cox, C-O-X. I did an interview on his channel. If pyramids don't work, why are they still in Egypt? If the 5 recruit 5 couldn't work, if the 5 who recruit 5 thing is so mathematically impossible and it'll deplete the entire Earth population within 15 cycles, well then, how come it hasn't happened yet? Jesus Christ has been recruiting for 2,000 years and not everyone is a Christian. Got him! Oh shit. They really think that they're spitting bars when they say that. Zero Strata says, in my world, you already have an Emmy for justice journalism. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. The Illuminati absolutely is real. Affiliate market. I think when it comes to the topic of the Illuminati, I was also 13 once, like everybody else, and believed everything I saw in a YouTube documentary. But I think the sad truth of it is not that there is actually some secret cabal who is so powerful and all-knowing and controlling. I think the truth is actually that the people who are in charge of running society are actually just so corrupt and so incompetent that it actually ends up seeming like there must be some big conspiracy to control everything, because it's easier to believe that there is a group of elite geniuses who are, deciding how things are going to go 100 years from now, when I really think the truth of it is it's a bunch of bumbling, incompetent idiots who are only doing what's necessary to keep the money flowing into their pocket. I mean, Open Secrets is a great website to try to piece this type of stuff together for yourself. Follow the money. Why does the Federal Trade Commission at the same time say that multi-level marketing is a legitimate business, but also simultaneously acknowledges that 99% of people in every MLM loses money, and it's all based on deception and a mathematically impossible recruiting pyramid scheme? Could it be money? It's almost, Grace says, it's almost maddening, TBH, the way that language is warped and weaponized. Almost maddening? I would say that it is maddening. I mean, I've talked to, damn, I'm looking good. I've talked to so many people, countless people, who were in MLM, who are now coming out of the fog, who are trying to unbrainwash themselves and unravel their mind, which has been so, you know, the logical has been so mixed up with the stretches of reality and the lies that they can't even make out what's true anymore. You know, go to Julie Anderson's channel. She talks about this in length, about how it was like you can't even fucking really see straight or think straight. I get a headache thinking about this shit, and I was never even in one, bro. Write this down. Everything I said in this video, write it down. Okay. I swear to God, if I refresh this stream and there's only 81 likes, it's going to be a big problem. Big problem. This live stream's going to hell. We're going to hell. That moment when you had a moment of silence with that. Yeah, no, I think that was the guy from PHP. I was like, yeah, can we just sit and take in what you said for 10 seconds? Hey, random person, I love your shirt pocket. It's crazy that I like your shoes thing. Some guy literally commented on my post yesterday saying that somebody approached him at the gym with the I like your shoes. It's like, bro, it's 2024. Get some new bars. Get some new bars, bro. Insane.
You're fucking poor.
Okay. 90,000 guys, 90,000 subscribers. I just want to thank you guys for that, for real.
You're fucking poor.
Thank you, for real.
It's all about residual income. Obama. Money.
I'm not a loser.
I don't use this one enough. Hold on, I don't use this one enough. I don't use that one enough. Okay. Okay, let me look at Albania. Yep, the entire country of Albania was destroyed by pyramid schemes in the, I think, 90s. Marco, legit question. How do you as an individual stand to the social pressure and law power these MLMs have? Well, it's a good question. First of all, I don't own anything. That's the first step. I don't own anything. I also don't have any dependents. I'm not married. I don't have children, as far as we know. So that makes it a lot easier. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the social pressure thing, that just comes with having, like, that just comes with believing in what you do and having a strong mind, which I think you can cultivate through practice and through, you know, through difficulty, through going through things in life, you know, going through trials. But yeah, probably believing in what you do is the most important thing. And I'm grateful for it all. You know, this is more money, more fucking problems. I think most people who, isn't it a fact that most people who end up winning the lottery or like make some multi-million-dollar sports contract end up going broke within a few years? Having that level of money is a skill. Now, I don't have money, okay? But I think having an audience is a skill. But having money is certainly a skill. Keeping it is certainly a skill. I think that's why you see these MLM gurus and promoters who have no business experience aside from blowing smoke up people's asses and recruiting them into a pyramid scheme. I think that's why they continually do it, because they always talk about the time freedom they have. I think if they really had time freedom, they wouldn't be on a Zoom call every day promoting their pyramid scheme. Could it be, though, that the reason they're doing that is because they're so unskilled with money that they have to keep doing it in order to keep the money coming in. I'm speculating, but actually I know for a fact that that is the truth, because even in documentaries like Lula Rich, which is on Amazon Prime, talking about all these women who are making $20,000 a month in LuLaRoe, they were making $20,000 a month, sure, but they were spending $30,000 a month and foreclosures and whatever. But on stage at the events, they were, of course, the big winners with, you know, the leaders making all the money, and they were a diamond and a ruby and an emerald and an amethyst and whatever the fuck. So, anyways, Evan Floyd asks, how do I stand to the social pressure of it? The social pressure of it, I feel a great sense of responsibility, not only to the people who follow me and watch my stuff, but also just, I care about being honest. I care about the truth, you know? I don't think you have to be a radical, politically involved person to simply care about the truth. You know, I get so frustrated when I see people who are like advocating for insane shit, and it's like, if you oppose them, they'll say, well, why do you care? It's like, why do I care? Motherfucker, why do you care? You brought the whole thing up. You brought the whole thing into the public consciousness and made it a big debate. What do you mean, why do I care? Nobody was even having these discussions before y'all brought it up and made it a thing. Now you're asking me why I care. Well, because I care about the truth. I care that if I say the sky is blue, that there isn't millions of people who disagree with me, because then I know we've completely lost the fucking plot. In 1984, the book opens with, the clock had just struck 13. Crypto Fugazi asking the real questions. Should I order McDonald's? You know, I also feel grateful for it all. Evan Floyd, you ask about the social pressure. The social pressure is real. You know, having to leave Canada for my own safety and my family's safety. The constant threats, harassment, lawsuits, DMs, etc., etc. But I'm grateful for it because, oh, this is where I was going with this. Yeah, more money, more problems. If you have, you know, everyone says they want to have $1 million, but it's like, you want to have $1 million, but do you want to have the legal problems that come with that? Do you want to have like the mental stress of being like, oh, my portfolio went down 10%, I'm gonna lose it all, etc., etc. You have to just be grateful for the good and the bad. You know, I couldn't expect that I'm gonna take on this evil cabal of the Direct Selling Association and multi-level marketing and build an audience now of 90,000 subscribers, climbing our way to 100,000, millions of views on the channel, people committed and dedicated to seeing this through, who subscribe to me on Patreon, who gift memberships on YouTube, who donate to the Streamlabs, like people actually putting real tangible effort into making this change a possibility. I can't be happy and proud about that, but then also be like, oh no, this is happening. I have to accept all of it, and I do accept all of it, and I'm grateful for all of it, you know? This is a world where, you know, y'all seen the new, there's the new open AI tool, Sora, which can generate like HD videos out of prompts. You know, first it was ChatGPT, where it's like it'll develop text out of a prompt, then photos like a Mid-Journey, where you can create like very good art out of a prompt. Now you can create videos out of prompts. How many people in the next 20 years are gonna lose some sort of venture because of AI? You know, this is scary. Now even video creators could potentially be affected by, you know, you could create a whole video, a whole YouTube video without ever doing anything. ChatGPT, write me a short video essay about dairy farms. ChatGPT creates the script. You copy paste that script into one of those AI voice things, and it speaks the voice in a nice, you know, clear voice with good volume control. Now you have the audio for it. Then you feed that same script as a prompt, or let the, you know, AI software create the video that goes along with what's being said in the prompt. Now you have the video and the audio, and you've done nothing. You've just said, write the video. Thank you, Evan Floyd. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Aww. So that being said, I mean, I'm very grateful to have a purpose. This is a world where I feel like, I don't feel like, I know for a fact that people in my age group who were born, you know, I was born in 1996. People in my age group from like, I feel like 1990 onward struggle with this idea of like finding a purpose. Nobody wants to try anything because they're scared they'll flop and it'll be cringe and, you know, people will think bad of them. That's why nobody, you know, very few people take the plunge with ever making a YouTube video. So many people say they want to be YouTubers. How many people actually ever put out a YouTube video? And how many of those people put out the first video and then were like, oh, this didn't work, fuck it. And they never put out a second video. Or how many people put out 10 videos and then said, oh, fuck it, I tried. I put out 10 videos, nothing happened, fuck it. You know, the graveyard is filled with all the most talented people in human history who for one reason or another, either because of fear or because of they didn't have the opportunities or illness or something, we just never knew about them. The greatest singers, the greatest poets, the greatest artists, painters, etc. So, you know, everybody is looking for purpose, and there's a lot of depression and anxiety, and people just like, you know, everything's so fucking expensive. When would you even have time to pursue some passion or some creativity or some hobby when you're working just to be able to pay the bill, just to be able to pay the rent, to go to sleep, just so that you can go to work again and you're not even sleeping there? It's like the irony of it. You're working so much just to be able to afford the rent and you're only ever at home to sleep. It's like, I could have fucking closed my eyes. I could have closed my eyes anywhere, you know? So, you know, I'm grateful that I have something that not only do I know it's helping people and I derive some purpose out of it and it allows me to get by financially, but, you know, I just spent way too long on this question, but appreciate you, Evan Floyd. And I don't know, I'm just, I guess, naive. I watched too many movies as a kid and I believe that good will prevail over evil in the end. Appreciate you, Spooks McGee. It's all about residual income. So true.
It's all about residual income.
Marco has a limited truth, as we all do. Well, LOL. You will know them by their fruits. Bars. Unless you're just a troll. Oh, sorry. I missed the whole beef that happened in the chat. Somebody defending MLM. Well, hey, yeah, I mean, exactly what you said, Sev. The fruits, blah, blah, blah. Heidi Robinson, I forgive you in advance for the error of your ways, and you know, time will tell the truth. Silicon Valley, what up? Crypto, I'ma fuck with you. Yeah. Got you. I already have 2 in the car. Oh, get a McDouble? Yeah. I already have 2 in the cart. I'll make it 3. Nice. And Paz says, unintelligent psychopaths run the world. You don't have to be smart to be successful. You just need a lack of conscience. I think so. You know. It's not even a conspiracy that the world is run by satanic you-know-whats. Scott's microphone says, my grandparents sold Avon for 30 years. They're with a new MLM, but they've been scammed so hard that they're in their 80s and still haven't retired. I mean, bro, that's haram. That's so haram, bro. That Jesus recruitment bar is so hard. Jesus hasn't recruited everybody yet. Yeah, it's also complete nonsense, though. You know, Christianity was not predicated on your ability to recruit 5 disciples who recruited 5 disciples who recruited 5 disciples. I'm gonna fuck with you. Can't see the forest through the trees. Bars. Oh, I haven't. Thank you. Let me refresh and see how many likes I got. Shifter likes the new shirt. Thank you. It's wrinkly, but that's the style, I guess. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. Thank you, Heidi Robinson. Appreciate that on a religious rant in the chat. All good. Thank you, Scott's microphone. The bags are dead today. I should have made this donor goal way less. Silica Valley. I was headed to Subway, but I got bit in an alley. Okay. Bars. 100K around the corner. Thank you, Sam here. Obama, who want that?
Obama.
Appreciate you, Masood. Step 1, have no assets. Exactly. Write this down. The earth is flat and we've been lied to. I don't believe that. Appreciate you, Zero Stratus. You want to sign up under me? You can be my leg. You will know them by their fruits is a bar. I'm reading the chat. I'm reading the chat. Don't worry. Anyone who's just tuning in or watching this on the replay, like, is this motherfucker just sitting here in silence? This is a live stream, babies. Maybe we'll cut it into a different thing in the future. You see it. A lot of ranting, a lot of rambling, incoherent rambling. Evan said, I'm actually going to ask, would you allow me to interview you on one of my Twitter spaces? I don't have a huge audience, but I really like your work. It's a strong maybe, Evan Floyd. It's a strong maybe. It's a light maybe. The internet did the same thing to a lot of jobs. It's a sad reality, but reality nonetheless. So true. $1 Million Listing the 6 says, I was in Amway for 4 years. The MLM to real estate pipeline is big, by the way. I was in Amway for 4 years. Been such a roller coaster of so many things. I can still talk for hours about what it was and how it took over my brain. Thank you, $1 Million Listing. Scott's microphone says, many in my family are still in MLMs and post stuff making fun of anti-MLMers. They have no idea what I think. You know what's crazy? And this goes to show, I mean, even further how deep the brainwashing and doublethink goes. These MLM people will say all day long that they are independent business owners and entrepreneurs who can wake up without an alarm clock, and that I'm a hater. When the truth is actually that they're making no money, struggling, probably still working another job, which is then funneling money into their MLM, which is making them lose all their money. And I actually am a fucking independent, whatever, self-employed entrepreneur. I'm a fucking YouTuber, bro. This stream was supposed to happen yesterday, but it didn't happen yesterday because I had other shit going on, so I didn't do it. The irony is so insane. And then they'll be like, oh, you're just doing it for money. Motherfucker, at least I make some money, you know? I'm just doing it for money. Isn't that your whole thing? Isn't that all you guys fucking talk about? Money, 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 money. Where's the button? Where's the button?
Money.
Isn't that all you guys talk about? Isn't that the whole point of this? I'm going to make $1 million. Look at my Lamborghini. Pretty sure I haven't flexed a Lamborghini, rented or otherwise, once. But at least I make money. You can see it happening in real time on the live stream. The $2 donation from Spooks McGee is, statistically speaking, with that $2 donation, I have made more than 99% of people in MLMs in human history. In every MLM with that one $2 donation right there. It's just crazy. And then they'll say, well, you're just doing it for money. It's like, okay, I happen to make money from YouTube, yes. Does that mean I'm just doing it for money? Does making money off of something signify a lack of integrity? You know, doctors make money for their work too, right? Teachers make money. Are they just doing it for money? If I'm just doing it for money, then it raises a very worrisome question about why are you doing your MLM? Because we know that's not giving you money. So are you just brainwashed? Are you just insane? And then if I'll defeat that excuse, and they'll be like, oh, you're just doing it for clout. It's like, motherfucker, sorry that my videos are good. Sorry that I put a lot of effort into them and they get views and blow up and, you know, what do you want me to say? Oh, there's nothing. And guess what? If I didn't make money off of it, they'd be like Scott and Peter saying his channel's dying. Nobody's giving him any money. He can't afford it. He's going to get sued, blah, blah, blah. And then if someone donates, they'll be like, oh, those people are so stupid giving him money. Wait, it'll run out. And if I didn't get views, they would say, you're not even getting views off this. Go do something better with your time. Go get some money. And then if I get some views and get some money, they'll say, you're just doing this for views and money. It's insane. Samin La dropped 666 and said, now you're a multiple six-figure earner. So true. So true. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's go. Journey of the Bumbleclot. So true. J.O.B. Yep. J.O.B. Journey of the Bumbleclot. I love that song, Turn Red. Big Bumbleclot, split a what's on me, Ed. A sexy gal who said she want to give me, Ed. Come on now. Come on. Thoughts on Masters resale rights? I don't know anything about it. She give no wicked Islam. If you're drinking wagwana, if you're drinking beer. Such a fucking catchy song. Okay, I'm a Rasta. I'm in Jamaica. Spoiler alert, I'm in Jamaica. My grandmother was in, can't say it, Amway, Nani Juice, they all failed. Damn. Pepper spray wielding bodyguard, that'd be fire. That'd be fire. I think you might need more than pepper spray for the people coming after me, but... Social selling. Such doublespeak. The account is... Hospitals will say, the account has closed. The account has been closed when a person dies. The account has been closed. Social selling. Just doing it for money. You're trying to shut down the thing you talk about that makes you money. Yeah, people have asked me, like, what's the pipeline for you, for your content, if you do get MLMs shut down? I'm like, I don't know, but I think that question right there sort of proves that I'm not just doing this for some perpetual, like, grind set thing, you know? Hopefully, I don't have to make videos about MLM in the future, you know? They're trying to pay sheikhs to say this is halal? No way. Here in my garage with my Lambo and the 50 boxes of Amway goo, right? Are you not supposed to make money from your job, right? Like, what the fuck? So true. You look at what they're doing on YouTube. They're trying to... It's a witch hunt. They're coming after me. Bombaclad. Can we get a rundown on the amount of spray technology where you are? Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough, Walter. I mean, I can feel the nutrients in my body are low because I don't have enough spray technology going on under my tongue. Spray technology. I can't believe he fucking said that with a straight face. But what can you say? I mean, he's gotten away with ridiculous claims and scamming for so long. Of course he's gonna say spray technology. It's proven. Also hospitals, the patient expired, right? Insane. All right, well, that's all I really got to say. That was a big bars. So I guess maybe in conclusion, more than how MLMs run the world, you realize the same tactics that MLM uses are pervasive in every other part of the world, every part of our society. So I just think it's, you know, when it comes to MLM, however, MLM is still the one thing that I think has the wool pulled over people's eyes the most. And it's done a very good job at cementing itself as a legitimate industry when it is neither of those things, in my opinion. Defamation, defamation, defamation. And it has perfected the strategies of language and deception, which it uses to promote the plan over the last 100 years. So, knowledge. Do I have the fucking knowledge sound effect on here? I should. Oh, here's the new one. I love that. How did I not play that one yet?
God did.
Also, I have a new stream scene for the younger generation. I should have been using this one the whole time, because some of y'all probably got bored with my ranting. I should have been using this one. That's way better. Next time I have something really serious to talk about, I'm gonna put this screen up. Wow, especially for the people watching on mobile. Just, you know, I should have been using this one. That's my bad. That's my bad. And more, I should have used more. No, not that. I should have used more sound effects too. Where's the
Yeehaw! It's bull wrangling time.
I think Here, listen to me carefully. Multi-level marketing is a scam. Do not do it. Don't join it. I even put the fucking Subway Surfers thing down there just so I made sure I had your attention. Don't do it. The fact that I went and Googled Subway Surfers gameplay, copied the link, put it into ClipGrab, downloaded it, put it into DaVinci Resolve, edited it, exported that clip, put it into OBS, set it up as a scene, looped it, added the camera scene into the thing, put it on the top layer, cropped it so that it was like this. Grown ass man. What do you do for a living? Oh, just doing some work right now. Literally, Subway Surfers gameplay. You need a GTA Online car jump now. Yes. You know, it's also, I also think if I was trying to do this, I don't know how the fuck Robert Fitzpatrick did it when there was no social media and my man's was just like publishing articles and writing books and only really like getting the dissent thrown his way. You know, I have the benefit of living in the modern age where I publish the truth and it helps people and people support me and send me their love and their gratitude and money as well. Money! Where's the Mr. Krabs thing?
Money.
So it's a lot easier. I mean, you guys definitely make it easier because having it, like, it keeps me sane, you know? Like, I know I'm not going insane because of y'all. Or am I? The chat isn't even there. I'm just like seeing it. My favorite Ming sound is the stupid asshole one. I got you. Where is it?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, you stupid fucking asshole.
So cute. Yeah. So, wait, more of a kinetic sand fan. Ooh, yeah, the ones where they're like cutting the sand. Ooh, yeah. Jared in the chat, Lord Jared DeRoche was telling me some shit about, he was telling me about some children's content where they have like, they put like some jelly beans in a muffin tin and then like shake it around and make the ASMR sounds and it gets like millions of views. I need to put some of that shit. Or Family Guy. Ooh, should we put some Family Guy down there? Dude, I got ideas. I should loop it. I should have it be like Subway Surfers, then Family Guy, then GTA, cars jumping, then like kinetic sand. Then like my fingers on the microphone like this. So fucking funny. Do you like me? I cannot believe how many good sound bites Scott and Peter have given us.
Do you like me?
That's haram.
That's so funny to me. They're my favorite. They're my favorite. The amount of effort. Sup, goons? There's no goons. Yes, there is. All right. Scott's microphone, aka 2 cans in a string. Scott's microphone, what was your username before it was Scott's microphone? Where's Hydrated King? All people who have been following me since 2019 know. Izzo, I am not a loser, and Subway Surfers. Wagwan Abasin Beret just woke up from my journey of the rock. I love when people make fun of their. I love when people say like, "Sorry guys, have to go, and need to be up early for my horrible job." My daughter watches the shit out of that ASMR stuff. Hilarious. How it's made, but the one that shows you how to make erasers. Yeah, that's fire. ASMR roleplay, POV, someone approaching you at Starbucks to join their business.
Hey, how are you? Sorry to bug you. I just wanted to tell you, I really like those shoes. Is that an iPad?
Is that an iPad? Oh, fuck. Jimmy D still be out here following me on Instagram and shit, liking shit, but not on YouTube as much. Mr. Moments, here we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. I made 2 videos about that company that you can go watch, certainly. And posts on my Instagram, too, that you can see. Thank you, Rusty Shackleford. All right, that's all I got. That's all I got. How long has this been fucking going? An hour and a half? Good enough. ASMR POV, stepmom stuck in MLM. Oh, my God. Oh, I should have put this background for doing the ASMR Starbucks.
Hey, what's that drink? That looks really good. That drink.
So stupid. An hour and a half? Good enough.
Hey, what's that drink?
So fucking dumb. Thank you, Mr. Moment.
Could you take a look at I Am Academy and let me know what aspects of it make you work?
Thank you. MLMs and cults are way more prolific in the West because of the individualistic culture. Yeah, and I mean just capitalism in general. Just over broke when your owner will pay you extra for working overtime, right? Your owner at your job would likely never say, "Can I reach you at 11 p.m. at night?" What up, Joseph? Hey, that water looks really hydrating. No kidding. All right, guys. Thank you for this. This was a fun stream. Appreciate y'all. Don't do drugs. Streamlabs link in the chat if you're watching this on the replay. As you can see, barely any bags were had. And I'm trying to get that bag up to go to... trying to get that bag up. Where's the... Gotta get the bag.
I gotta get the bag.
To try to go travel to America to do the next iteration of the MLM conference that I spoke at last year. I've got some hot heat to spit this year. And that's a goddamn fact. So hopefully we can make that happen. Thank you, Brandon Patrick 93. Let me make sure there wasn't a chat message associated with that so that I can be a good cult leader. Yep, join the Discord. I don't know why the buttons aren't working when I press the chat buttons that say, like, you know, there's nothing there now. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, I heard about what's going on at WFG. I may talk about it. We may talk about it. We may not talk about it. We may do it. We may not do it. I can do it if I want. I have to show you this one thing. Trump. I can do it if I want. Here. This one where it's like, the one where it's like when we're not officially in a relationship and she asks me if I talk to other girls or some shit like that. So fucking stupid. Here.
It's going a little bit.
Yes, to build.
Oh, we can use them
without congressional approval. And second,
yes,
on Mexico, you have.
Yes, I have. And I can do it if I want.
So you don't need congressional approval to build the wall?
No, we can use them. Absolutely. We can call a national emergency because of the security of our country. Absolutely. No, we can do it. I haven't done it. I may do it. But we can call a national emergency and build it very quickly. And it's another way of doing it. But if we can do it through a negotiated process, we're giving that a shot.
So is that a threat hanging over the Democrats?
I never threaten anybody.
Dude. Listen, you know I've criticized Trump so many times on this channel for promoting ACN. Thank you, Cummies. What the fuck? What do you think of TBD Trump shoes? I don't even know what that is. I should have just ended the stream because now we're getting political. Yeah. But I've criticized Trump so many times, but bro, these journalists that ask him questions are literally not journalists. They're literally just fucking like activists. They're literally just like left-wing activists. You never hear Biden get asked, is that a threat to... It's like, bro, y'all are just reaching. They do the same thing here in Canada with fucking... I guess not here in Canada, but in Canada. They do the same thing with Justin Trudeau, just like softball, little delicate pussy-o questions. And then with Pierre Poilievre, they'd be asking him the like most loaded... multi-part impossible fucking questions and then don't even let them answer. I have to be honest, did Trump commit fraud in that fraud case that he was held liable for recently? Probably. But why was it only brought to light now? Would he have gotten away with it if it weren't for these meddling kids, you know, and like the presidential race? Probably. It had happened however many fucking years ago. It's like, now y'all are doing it? He probably paid off the right people. But now that those same people don't want him to be the president, they're stopping it. It's like, look, I also don't want Trump to be president, but I also don't want Biden to be president, you know? And it's like, I just have to call it like I see it. No bias. Not trying to defend Trump because he deserves the criticism, certainly, in my opinion. But when he says that it's a witch hunt, like all these lawsuits, in my opinion, 1000% absolutely he's correct. It absolutely is a fucking witch hunt. All of a sudden he's got these legal cases and shit. It's like, come on, bro. They've been saying, I've heard motherfuckers saying since like 2016 Trump was gonna go to jail. He's getting impeached. Blah blah blah. Where? What happened? I don't know. I think I was one of many people who learned when Trump got impeached that doesn't actually mean you get kicked out of office. I thought that's what it meant. Didn't he get impeached twice? He was still the president. He's still running for president again. What the fuck? He's probably going to be the fucking president. The fuck? Yes, Usana is an MLM. Usana is an MLM. It's crazy. It's getting to the point now where you're not even allowed to say it's an MLM. They'll say you're speaking in a defamatory way if you call it an MLM. They'll say it's direct sales or it's something else. Trump is selling shoes now? I might have to get that. You'll never know. You'll never know based on seeing me like this. You'll never know that I'm wearing the Trump shoes underneath the table. He showed up at SneakerCon? Nah, come on, hold on. Trump SneakerCon. Trump launches sneaker line a day after judge orders to pay $355 million? Respect. Get that fucking money, my boy. Get that. You gotta pay them legal fees, bro. Where is it? Where is it?
Billions and billions.
Let's indict the motherfucker. Let's indict.
Thank you so much to whoever the fuck that was. Refresh it. Thank you to Brandon Patrick. Thank you. Thumbs up the ting. So true. So true.
Thumbs up the ting.
You have to watch Trump at SneakerCon. Okay, I will. Pre-order the kicks. I should. How much are they? Like $3 bills? Marco's imitation of Trump is the reason he reached 90K and will hit 100. So true. Okay, let's check this. Ooh. Not the gold shoes. This shit is hard. Better not give me a fucking ad either. Better play this shit without a fucking bitch.
While climate change.
Climate change. What are the odds that I get an ad about climate change on a video about Trump? They're trying to poison my mind. They're trying to get inside my brain.
This Trump today announcing he's launching his own line of footwear. I don't know, Paul, you're going to be picking up a pair of these, but the most expensive pair apparently come in at a steep $400.
G-shit.
But it goes to show you can have the most expensive shoes money can buy, but you can't outrun the long arm of the law.
What?
No, I think it's interesting. He actually knows a lot about feet. Because you remember, he dodged service in Vietnam by falsely claiming that he had bone spurs in his feet. So, he's got very soft and delicate feet. And so I hope these shoes are wonderfully comfortable for Mr. Trump, because he's a very soft man.
Bro, these guys are fucking haters. Bro, these guys are some bitch. What the fuck? Don't know what happened. I talked too much truth on this stream, and now they've sabotaged me. Who knows what the fuck? Who knows what the fuck? Who knows? Yeah, this is AI, Marco. I've come to take over. The Direct Selling Association has hacked into the live stream, and the Democratic National Party and the Direct Selling Association have teamed up to hack into my live stream and whatever. What was I even fucking saying? I was saying that the Trump shoes where I am in the world would crush. Wow, I was really just frozen for how long? Fucking haters. Bro, you guys some bitch. Oh, I was saying, of course the CNN people managed to make a of course they managed to make like a video that was supposed to be talking about the release of Trump shoes. Of course they managed to make it into like just like a hit piece, you know? Hating on him. And then I said that the Trump shoes in the part of the world where I am right now would crush as a comedy bit. Anyways, this is karma because I should have ended the stream when I said I was going to end it. All right. Peace out. Fuck. Join the Discord, link in the description. So unprofessional. Peace.